Hello.
Oh, hi. Hi, Joyce.
Hi, how are you?
Oh, man, I feel amazing.
Yeah.
That was abrupt.
Yeah, it's a little bit abrupt, but we are the week after Galaxy, and this is our first stream after Galaxy. So hello, everyone. Welcome to the Postman live stream. My name is Joyce. I'm in developer relations, and I am sitting in San Francisco right now. Michael, you want to introduce yourself?
Sure enough, I'm Michael Bettendorf. I'm the editor-in-chief at Postman, and I mostly deal with words and not with APIs. So Joyce is going to lead me by the nose through these things today. Yay.
What is an editor-in-chief?
I wonder that myself, but I know that I have to keep an eye on every word that goes out for the company publicly, including executive presentations and the website and all the social media and the emails and all the other things that have words.
So you work at Postman, but you're not in a like a traditional engineering role or anything like that. Do you know Spider-Man?
Not personally.
You know the show or the movie Spider-Man. Is the editor-in-chief the guy with the mustache and the cigar?
Well, not at Postman. It's not, because I don't have a mustache or a cigar. But I can't recall the title of the mustache guy in
I feel like
Spider-Man.
He was editor-in-chief, and he just yelled at Spider-Man a lot. Or not Spider-Man, but you know, his alias. Hi,
Yeah,
John's work alias. Welcome.
That could be me. Hi, John's work alias.
Okay, so we, you know, you're in a non-traditional, you're not in an engineering role, so we're going to have a interesting stream today. Occasionally we do this format, and I actually really like this format. It's fun for me. And we have Lindy for the Windy. That sounds like Michael. So welcome, welcome to this live stream, and hopefully, oh, and Arlemi's here behind the scenes. Michael is just very non-traditional.
In every way, Arlemi, yes.
Oh, Jonah Jameson. Is that an editor-in-chief?
Oh, wow. Sue with the gold name. Yeah.
Yes. So Michael's always yelling. That's my understanding of what editor-in-chief does. Words, but also yelling, and you smoke a cigar.
Yeah, Jonah Jameson could be my new nickname. I like it.
Yeah. Okay, so before we start with the actual meaty part of the live stream, we do have a couple updates. I'm going to go ahead and share my screen real quick. And there's a couple. I'm going to take this. I don't know what to do here. How about this? Does this look usable to people? Can people see this? Okay, don't worry. You don't need to see this entirely in depth, but we like to start this stream with a segment called In Case You Missed It. Just a couple updates. One is, in case you missed it, you should see my screen. This is the Electron app. This is the package app for Postman, and this is V8. But wait, it looks a little bit different. Yes, if you've been watching this live stream, then you know that this is updating to the new UI that we've been showing you over in the web. So this is the Electron app. I'm on Windows, so it might look slightly different, but not too different. And now when I switch over to the web app, now I'm in Chrome, the UI has been updated so that it feels a little bit more same if you're working in the Electron app versus the web. So V8, oh no, okay. So John's work alias says we can see what you see. Okay, thank you for that. And Arlemi's saying remove the chat. Get rid of it. Hold on, let me find it. Let me find it and get rid of it.
These are pretty high maintenance listeners, I think.
Well,
Micromanaging us.
If you're at home and you can't see something, it is very annoying. So thank you very much for Arlemi for chiming in. So V8 is the new big release that's been happening. And we also have, if you were living under a rock for the last 5 months, last week we had Postman Galaxy and our esteemed Michael Bettendorf MC the main intergalactic stage, if I'm not mistaken. So we do have, I'm going to drop a link here, this webpage. Here is our Galaxy recap. And here's the faces of our founders, Kin Lane. And we have some recordings up. So say I'm really interested in designing secure APIs in the cloud talk by Microsoft. I can go ahead and check out this recording. So not all of the recordings are up yet, but I know people have been asking so frequently about this. So finally, some of the recordings are up for Galaxy. Any reflections? Like I'm like still kind of sweating from Galaxy. Any reflections that you want to share? TLDR if you missed it.
Michael? Oh, you're speaking to me. All right. You're going to have to say Michael.
Sorry. I'm talking to you.
To our micromanaging audience. Yeah. I was amazed by how good a lot of the talks were, and Ankit's keynote was remarkably well received, as I'm understanding. And it was, I wasn't sure about that one because it was extremely technical about organizational priorities for the company and things like that. And people loved it. And then, of course, Steve Wozniak, who he has huge name recognition, of course, but I had no idea how great he was going to be in his chat. So that was quite a highlight for me. I've seen all of our internal people speak before, and they're fantastic. So I'd never seen Woz speak before. That was quite a high point.
Woz is pretty personable, and hearing him talk with Kin Lane got to talk with the OG Wozniak, the Woz, but he also got to speak with Jeff Barr, the chief evangelist for AWS, and like I don't know what Kin was more excited about. The fanboy in him was strong that day, and you said Ankit Sopti, our CTO's keynote. I just dropped a link to that in the chat. That was like, yeah, it was long and it was technical and people loved it. So check that out if you haven't already. It looks like, wow, the web team is putting up more and more recordings. So even from this morning, more have come up. Okay. All right. That was in case you missed it. Lots of stuff going on. I am still tired. I am still sweating. But today, Michael, we have a special topic. Do you want to tell us what we're doing today?
I'm curious myself what we're doing today, but I will tell you that it has something to do with a chat that you and I had about a month ago, and you were surprised to learn that I was a Grateful Dead fan, and you were wondering, asking me about it, and I said, "Oh man, there's a lot of it's a long rabbit hole, this Dead fandom thing, and there's a remarkable amount of statistics and minutia that those of us who love the Dead are into." And you said, well, that seems like the kind of thing that we might be able to push around with APIs a little bit, which is not a way I've thought of the Dead before. So that brings us up to now. I assume there's going to be some intersection of the Grateful Dead and APIs, but I don't know what that might be.
Yeah, it's funny because you don't really picture Grateful Dead being like on the forefront of like technology or APIs, but it turns out after you and I talked, I just did some Googling. I was like, Grateful Dead, APIs, data. And there is a ton of data. I don't know what it is historically. I feel like if you know in the chat, if you know who the Grateful Dead are, which I don't, is that the one with the teddy bears that go across?
That's the one.
Yeah.
I'm not sure that's how I would define them, but yes.
I meant to listen to one of their songs before this stream, but I did not have time. But it's not that the Grateful Dead, the band, is like, we're API first. Let's put some. Are they still alive?
Some.
Okay. Are they still performing?
As the Grateful Dead, no, there are various configurations of the members who play under slightly different names, one of which is the Dead. But the Grateful Dead is gone as of 1995.
Okay, so Lindy for the Windy says, haha, Michael feels old right now, but today Michael is our whippersnapper. He is the pupil that will be learning how to use Postman to access the Grateful Dead stuff. And John's work alias, they're like fish, but they came first. That's what I said. I said, Michael, are they the same as fish? And you said, no?
No, I did not say no. I mean, well, it depends on what you mean the same. They're all musicians. And I would certainly consider Fish a descendant of the Grateful Dead approach to music.
And I believe both the Grateful Dead and Fish have Ben and Jerry flavors, if I'm not mistaken, for ice cream.
Yeah, well, Fish is actually from Vermont, so they're right in Ben and Jerry's backyard. So yeah, I think they're all buddies.
Okay, so the point is, like, I don't know who the Grateful Dead is. I love music, and I know, Michael, you play music. You're a big aficionado of music, but I personally don't follow artists. But the Grateful Dead didn't host a public API, but people like Michael are like so fanatical about the music, about what they play, when they play, where they play, that they have collected all this data and kind of put it out there. So I did find one. I Googled, and like the very first search that came up was an API called Setlist FM. And Michael, you said you actually know what that is?
Well, yeah, I use setlist.fm for not just for Dead shows, because they do set lists. It's a sort of a wiki of set lists for all kinds of concerts. And when I've gone to things in the past few years, gone to shows, which, when I go to a Dead show, I'm going to know all the songs because that's my thing. But if I go to see anybody else, or even just bands that have a huge repertoire, I'll go to Setlist and see what stuff they're playing on this tour and listen to those songs, because a concert is so much better every time they start a song and you know that song. If that happens 50% of the time in the concert, you get X amount of joy out of it. If that happens 70%, you get X plus, and so on. So the more prepped you are for a concert, for each song that they're going to play, the more joy you're going to get out of it. So I've used setlist.fm a lot over the past few years when I've gone to shows.
So you really want to squeeze the value out of every show.
Yeah, I mean, plus concerts are expensive. Yeah. I definitely want to squeeze the value out of it.
Hi, Matovic. Thanks for joining us. And hi, Rizal Fakri. I'm going to go ahead and drop a link to Setlist FM. And today's stream, Michael, you're kind of new to code. You're for sure new to code. You're the whippersnapper, and you're slightly new to like using Postman. It's not really comfortable for you to use it every day. So I'm going to go ahead and drop a link to this setlist.fm API. If you want to follow along at home, go ahead and register. I think you have to create an account, and then you have to spin up an app, like a demo app. Just call it like demo app. And then almost immediately, I got my API key right away. Hi, Evan Lindsay. Thank you for joining us. If you want to follow along at home, please do. And if you know JavaScript, please help us, because we're going to be writing some JavaScript. We're going to be using, I think, OpenAPI, which is not my wheelhouse. So if you want to chime in on some of this, please go ahead. I just dropped a link to the website. And Michael, you said it's an actual site that you use, the website. But
correct.
Now we're going to use the API. So some of the stuff that you get from the API, you might be able to do with the website. And some of the stuff that you do on the website, you might be able to do with the API. But sometimes there's not always parity. Sometimes you get more access in one or the other. And sometimes you could do more powerful stuff with the API, depending on the
NATO. Let's dig into it.
Okay, so let's quit jibber jabbering and let's get started.
Wait, I do want to jibber jabber. Hannah said, Michael, do you have a favorite show you've been to? And I would say early November 1987 at Kaiser Auditorium in Oakland. I don't think that venue is open anymore. I'd put that one on the top of my list.
I don't know what Kaiser Stadium is. So November Sailor, does that mean that you were at this concert. And in fact, people in the chat, let me know, like, is the Grateful Dead? It doesn't matter if you care or know them. We're gonna do this because Michael's our guest today. But is the Grateful Dead
Humor me.
And the data behind it something that you already know about? Like, I was very surprised to see the level of public data available for the Grateful Dead. Okay, Michael, do you want to transition over to Postman in the web, and then I'll go ahead and share your screen?
Okay. I am at the tab at meowsergirl.postman.co.
Okay, so I'm going to enlarge on your screen. Evan Lindsay says Cherry Garcia for the win. I'm pretty sure that's how I know who the Grateful Dead is, because they have ice cream. Okay. So go ahead and open a new tab and go to Setlist FM documentation if you wouldn't mind. And Michael, I did ask for you to get your API key so we don't have to sit here and wait for you to.
Correct. I do have that somewhere.
There's plenty of time if you're following along at home to generate your API key if you want to try it.
So that's right here. Apply for an API key. What everybody, if they want to do such a thing.
Yeah, you're zoomed in pretty heavily, but I am going to zoom in a little bit more on my side. Okay, so let's look for what's the first thing that you think we need to get started with an API. You can't answer
URL. Are you talking to me? You have to say Michael.
Michael.
I would say URL.
Yes. So let's start looking for what we need, all the stuff that we need. Let's find the documentation. Do you see anything in this page about documentation?
Man, this is
a trick. In the docs, really. But let's scroll down. There's your API key.
This?
Resources. Oh, an interactive interface by Swagger. Okay, right down here. So you scroll down to it. The path we see.
Yeah.
And you have your method, your HTTP verb like get. So that first path, it looks like we're going to retrieve an artist by some sort of ID using the get method. Okay, let's go ahead and start in Postman.
Okay.
Let's start with a clean new workspace. So go under the workspaces drop down in the top. And let's create a new workspace with that plus sign. Oh my gosh, you're zoomed in so heavily. I feel like it's going to be an issue.
You're going to vomit?
No, I can see it at least. Okay. So let's call this like Michael's Dead. I don't know, whatever you want to call it. Okay, and then we'll make the visibility a team so I can peek in if I need to.
And okay.
And
look at those different visibilities. Neato. We're going to go with team.
So if you were like a little shy or you just didn't want me to be all nosy and up in your business, go ahead and expand that drop down again. You'd probably want to create a personal workspace. Or if you were like so consumed with Grateful Dead joy that you were just building collections, spinning off APIs and that kind of stuff, you might have like Grateful Dead data visualizations personal workspace. Or you might have Grateful Dead like concert set lists or whatever. You can organize how you want the personal, but since I'm maybe going to help out, let's do a team.
Roger. Team it is.
And our faces are over the orange button. So like what? Can I move this? What? Oops, sorry. That's my face. How do I make it small again? Oh. Okay. I thought I could move my face, but I just zoomed in. Probably hit the orange button. I don't know what it says. Can you?
It says create workspace. I can see it because I don't have our lovely pictures over. Yeah. Create workspace. Boom. I hit it.
Boom. Okay. So pristine workspace. We're going to be doing, Michael, something here. Let's go ahead and go over to the Setlist FM API docs. If you're following along at home, this is like basically a choose your own adventure kind of day. We're going to explore this API. We're going to create some hypotheses and poke at it. So let's go back to the setlist FM API.
Okay.
And let's try it out. So this is the Swagger documentation. So that button where it says try it out, it's kind of a gray button. Go ahead and try it out.
Trying it out, clicking try it out.
Okay. And scroll down a scotch. I think we're on the same page. Scroll to the top. There was a new header at the top. Okay, so there you see this swagger.json, and you see a placeholder for API key.
Mm-hmm.
What do you think, chat? Is it okay to share our API key, knowing that if anyone decides to be mischievous, that this just brings the stream to a close? Michael, do you feel good about showing your API key?
I feel totally fine about it. The people in the chat seem like a very trustworthy group.
Okay, go ahead and paste your API key in there and then click explore. We'll see how this goes. If we get rate limited right away, or like your account.
Okay, I'm hitting explore. What the hell?
Yeah. Okay, now scroll down. Okay, stop. We have some people maybe commenting about Hannah saying that's a lot of trust in us, Joyce. Evan Lindsay saying game over. Rizal Fakri is saying, I think setlist will censor it. So they might if other people use the API key, but let's just cross our fingers for at least the next hour. Let's get your own API key. It's super easy. We dropped a link into it earlier. Okay. All right. Yes. No, they didn't.
And why do we need an API key? Do tell.
Yeah. So it's a public API. Setlist FM has kindly said, okay, as long as you create an account, you can access it. But if you're doing something sinister, or maybe you're trying to monetize, they want to be able to track you. So this API key, one of our customer success managers, Carolyn, put it really nicely. She thinks of it like a key to a house, where Michael, you have a key to get into to this house, but you can also lend me the key if you're saying like Joyce can go in the house, and then you give me a key to get in the house.
Got it. Love it. Thank you, okay. Carolyn.
Yeah. So scroll, and I'm looking at like these search cities, venues, like what looks interesting here?
Well, I do like cities for Berkeley, California.
Yeah, let's see it. Is that where you live?
Yes, that is where I live.
Okay. So go ahead and click on it. And you see this path, you see the verb again, you see the path, and go ahead and search for cities. Okay, so this is the Swagger documentation, and it shows some like model schema, some things.
Yep.
Scroll down outside of that potential response.
Okay.
Okay, so here's the response content type. Here's a bunch of like params that if you wanted to enter something into this Swagger interface, go ahead and enter in a state or name. Yeah, name. Okay. Just try it. Oh, okay. Hit try.
Try it out?
Yeah.
Oh, state code and state different. State code, the city license, state. What does that mean? Anyway, we'll try it out. We'll see what happens. Yeah. Try it out. Got some curl.
Curl. Request URL.
Aha.
And your XML response body. And it says 404. Oh no, did somebody wreck our credential already?
Wait, so let me ask you this. Is it possible that sucks, 404? Is state code, do you think CA and state is California?
Yeah. So I think that it said 404. Did it say forbidden? Oh, not found. Okay, yes. Good sleuthing. So clear that field and then go ahead and hit try it out again.
Oh, yeah. I might have just botched it up by putting too much in there.
There we go. There's our beautiful
XML. Berkeley, Illinois and Berkeley Heights, New Jersey. Look at all this.
I think John's work alias was correctly surmising that state code is probably CA, and then state is probably California.
Yes, Jones work alias. Well played.
Okay. So let's go ahead and how cool is this request? How much do you want to stay with this request? Well, there's a
0.
Berkeley Springs and okay. Let's
Berkeley Springs, West Virginia is really what I wanted to know about.
Let's collapse this request and look for something that allows us to search for Grateful Dead stuff.
Okay.
Because setlist FM is just like all sorts of set lists, right?
That is correct.
Okay.
So do we want to go by artists right here?
Yeah, let's try it out. Expand it again.
John, Paul, George, Ringo. Never heard of them.
That's an example response, I think they're trying to say. In application XML, that drop down where it says response content type.
Yeah.
Go ahead and toggle that over to application JSON, just so we can see a different type of response. And then it looks like we need to either have the artist, scroll down to those params, artist MBID music brains identifier. Do you know what music brains is?
Nope.
Okay, so we can either get an ID or we can maybe try searching by the artist name.
How about we see if there's other Berkeley Heights, New Jersey deals? Oh, look at that. Grateful Bed. That is bullshit. There we go.
What?
See that one?
Grateful Bed?
Yeah,
I don't know.
come on.
I
don't either.
Rock? I don't know what any of this is. Okay, so find the one that you want and then find the MBID.
Well, I assume this is it.
Yes.
That seems fairly straightforward.
Or you can search by the complete name.
I gather that's what you're suggesting I do. I hear what's between the lines.
No, this is your way to use it. So when you hit.
Okay. Grateful Dead UK. I know, Sue, you want that one, but I'm not doing that one.
Is that a different Grateful Dead?
I guess maybe it is. I don't know. My guess is that's specifically set lists from their UK dates rather than it being a different band. But
oh my gosh, Sean Keegan says J-Rock is Japanese rock. That sounds.
See, this is why we have the chat going.
More interesting than the Grateful Dead.
Just I can hear you, right?
We're gonna continue on this Grateful Dead journey. So we can stay in this Swagger documentation. Hannah Neal, I stand by what I said. Hannah says, Joyce, you take that back. I'm reading everything out loud because Michael is so zoomed in and so focused on exploring this Grateful Dead data that he can't see her.
I know I have another laptop over here. Occasionally I can look at it, but I mean, I can barely monotask, let alone multitask. Okay,
so let us go and look for, because I think I saw that it was Swagger format. I feel like Setlist FM has an OpenAPI or a Swagger file that we can bring into Postman.
I'm going to trust you on that.
Well, let's look for it. We're going to have to look for it. Okay. It's not going to bite us in the... We'll have to look for it. If anybody familiar with Swagger knows where I can find this file, please chime in on the chat. Otherwise, we're just going to poke around looking for it. And it won't be in this particular request. It'll be at a high level. It'll kind of aggregate all these requests up. So maybe collapse this artist search section.
Okay.
Okay, collapse. Is there something at the bottom? Oh, good. Brain Dead Error is going to help. Wasn't there a JSON link at the top? Looks like maybe the spec. Let's investigate. So scroll all the way to the top.
All the way to the top.
That JSON link. Oh, yes. Thank you. Yes. And Evan Lindsay says concurs. Okay, so that link at the very top ending in .json. Yep. Go ahead and copy that to your clipboard.
Got it.
You're going to go over to Postman.
Going over to Postman tab.
Yes. So a lot of people ask this question. They're like, I'm using Swagger or I'm using OpenAPI v2 or 3. How do I use it in Postman? We are about to import this OpenAPI specification file. I'm sorry, I don't know what version it is, so it might be Swagger. Go ahead and click that import button, that gray one right there. Yep.
Ready. Boom.
Okay, so this is where you can drop in a file if you want, but since we have a link, we'll go to link. And then paste it there.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, this looks correct.
Look at that.
Continue.
This is happening.
Okay, so this is like a small, you're zoomed in really heavily, so your modal is a little bit small. So scroll down. Yeah. So you're going to import the spec file as well as generate a collection. And yeah, let's go ahead and leave the collection type as documentation. Okay. Now, I could say click import and then we could see what we get. But yeah, let's go ahead and dig into the advanced options. And if you're familiar, if anyone is familiar with OpenAPI in the chat, please help, because all I have is some suggestions on a sticky that makes it look right, but I don't know if it's right. So look at all these options. When you use OpenAPI or Swagger format, it's a standard, right? It's a standard format, but some people interpret different properties differently, or they want to describe their API a little bit differently. So this is why when you import it into Postman, it might not be clean according to what Postman assumes you want stuff to be transposed into. Okay, so let's scroll to the top of the advanced section. And for naming requests, go ahead and see what's in that dropdown. Yeah, let's try URL. So what I'm saying is, ideally, you bring it in and you see what you get, unless you absolutely know your spec cold, but we're using somebody else's spec, so we don't really know what's going on. Here's the age-old question of spaces or tabs. Let's leave it as spaces. If you have an opinion, you can try a different one.
We'll leave it as the age-old question that I've never heard.
Spaces or tabs? Do you not watch?
I know what spaces and tabs are, but I didn't know it was an age-old question.
Yeah, so John's work alias is saying, can this modal be resized larger? And there's a scroll bar because we're zoomed in really, really heavily so that you can see this at home. So unfortunately, it's not super usable. But otherwise, no, you cannot resize it unless you zoom in or out. Okay, so we're going on past spaces. Collapse redundant folders, that probably sounds like a good thing. Optimize conversion, that's probably good. Okay, request parameter generation. It's on example. What's the other option, schema? Okay, leave it on example. Scroll down, example. Folder organization. What's the other option besides path? Okay, let's try tags.
Done.
And then include auth info in example request. Okay, so let's just see what this looks like. I'm not sure if this is going to be the cleanest, but since everyone is crickets in the chat, this is what we get. Go ahead and import it.
If you don't tell us not to do this, we're going to do this.
We're going to
import.
Do it.
Stand by. Importing.
Okay, one API and one collection were imported. They'll show up in just a few seconds, and I already see it there. Evan Lindsay says, wait, no, stop. Evan Lindsay, thanks for your help. I'm pretty sure he's kidding. But if not, please help us. Okay, so it says publish imported APIs to private API network. So the private API network is something that we don't talk about very often, but if we wanted to share or list, rather, our APIs, we could go ahead and toggle that off. Oh, good. Kevin Swiver knows what he's talking about. The tag.
Finally, someone.
Oh, no. The tags in this OpenAPI doc match the paths, so it's going to look confusing. But don't worry. I think I know what they're saying. Go ahead and close this modal because we're done.
Done.
So now we're under the APIs tab on the left sidebar. Go ahead and highlight that first API that you just imported.
Right here.
Yep. And then go under the Define tab. So this is, okay, now we see it's Swagger v2, which rebranded as OpenAPI v2. And Kevin was saying that the tags match the paths. So you can see what the tag looks like, the tag name, if you scroll down a scotch. It's going to look a little machine readable, but like it's still human readable. It's still. Okay, so here's where we just imported imported an API spec. If we wanted to make some updates, we could. If we wanted to generate a collection and we didn't do it in that first step, we could. But let's peek on over to the collections tab on the left. Yes, and there's one collection because you said go ahead and generate a documentation collection. Click on that. And this is what Kevin's saying, like the names of these folders or requests isn't super nice. I believe that's what they were saying. But go ahead and click on that first artist by MBID. And then, so that's a folder. It's nested. Nested maybe how you want or maybe not how you want. You can fiddle with the settings on the import next time if you want to. So click on that. That is going to be a get request. And you can see it's a get verb. There's a base URL. Is there a base URL in there? Oh, no, it's just /rest. So we're going to need to find the rest.
So we have to manually put the base URL in there?
We'll have to manually update what base URL plugs in at. Go ahead and hover over that one more time. You can see that in the import, it's subbing in /rest as a collection variable. So we will have to update our collection variable called base URL with the actual base URL. Actually, let's do that now. Go back to
I want to do that.
Swagger UI.
Instruct me again on that one.
Go to the documentation again tab of the browser.
Documentation tab of the browser. Directory.
Sorry. At the top where the tab says Swagger UI, we'll go back to the setlist.fms.
This?
Up higher. Up higher. In the browser, right there.
My browser tab.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay, now scroll back down to where we were using the Explorer before and expand any one of those.
Okay.
I don't know what Arlemy just posted. Oh, thinking Arlemy. Okay, so remember how you saw a curl request? We could have imported a curl request too, but go ahead and scroll down past this model schema. Yep. Scroll, and then there it is. So in that curl request, you can actually scroll to the right within that curl window. Or actually, it's right down below. So request URL, copy up until /rest. So you just want the base part.
Oh, right. So do not include rest.
Or include the /rest.
Okay, include the /rest.
Okay, copy that to your clipboard.
Copied to clipboard.
Yes, back to Postman.
Back to Postman.
And now we need to update our collection variable. So click on setlist FM API collection. Yep. Click on it. And under variables tab, yep, you can close that little info X out of that little info thing so we can see the base URL down below. Yep. Okay. And now on initial value, just go ahead and paste the whole thing in over that /rest.
Boom.
And then hit reset all. That orange at the side. Yep. Okay. So now we've updated our base URL to the actual base URL. Do we think this is going to work?
I do.
Okay, let's try it. Wait, save your changes first.
How might I do such a thing?
It's right at the top. There's like an old-timey disk icon. Right to the left. Down. There it is. Yeah. I don't know if that's old-time. I know it's a little.
Yeah, it is.
There's a lot of options here.
Yep.
Okay, so you saved your changes.
Yep.
And now you can go ahead and close this tab just to clean up our interfaces, Coach. You can close this tab because we're not going to do anything with the specification. And you can close this overview tab too if you want.
Yeah,
So
clean
now
it up.
click on the green get request and hover over the
Yeah.
base URL.
We're going to nail this.
Okay. Do we think
Look at that.
Work,
Woo!
chat? Okay, let's try it.
Let's send. Let's get some gold here.
Forbidden.
Forbidden.
403 forbidden.
Is that the name of the band? I love them.
So one thing Sean Ryan Keegan is encouraging us to send, but there's something else that we're probably forgetting to do. Let's go ahead. I think, yes, Tan Mayo, you need to pass your API key too, correct. So let's go back over to the documentation in Setlist FM just to see how they handled their auth. Oops, exactly where you were.
Oh, down lower?
Yeah, so scroll down just a scotch. I'm looking at the curl request because that's the easiest way for me to do it. Okay, now see the curl request right above request URL that you have highlighted?
Yep.
Scroll to the left in that field. Okay, so it looks like you need to include a header with the key X API key and the value of your token.
This is my API key?
That's your API key that you entered at the top, and then it's plugging in for you in this interface. So copy that key to your clipboard.
So just the key, not these characters.
The key, correct. Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
Copied to clipboard, heading back to Postman.
Thanks, Tan Mayo. Arlemy says that's a nice API key. Would be a shame if someone was to steal it. Arlemy, you little. Okay.
Always taking it to the dark side.
Okay, so now we have to add a header. So we'll tab over to headers. Right there, yep.
Right here, okay. Headers.
So if you'll remember, I remember, you need to add a header with X API key. So under the key column, you're going to want to type in lowercase x dash, and then you can select from suggestions, X API key, and then go ahead and paste your value for now. There. Yep.
And Arlemy, don't look.
Okay, now do we think this is going to work?
I thought the last one was going to work, so I'm going to abstain.
Okay, let's try it. That's the good thing about Postman. Nothing hurts from hitting that send button.
So I'm just going to go ahead and hit send right now.
Yeah.
Man, this feels... Come on.
Risky click of the day. Okay, so it says 404 not found. Let's go over to the params tab.
Params tab here.
Yep.
Click.
And it says that you need an MBID.
The music brains. Oh, music brains.
Yes, yes, Riz Kalfari, yes. We need an MBID for this particular request. If we want to recreate this under the this request, correct. But I feel like, let's look at the sidebar. There's one that says search artists. Click on that. Let's see what it looks like. Yep. Now click onto the request, the get request. Oh, we got some experts here. Hold on. Let me read what's happening. Okay. Karthik is saying we could store the API key in the environment just to prevent Arlemy from copying it. Karthik, I think you're absolutely right. Let's do it. Okay, so so far we use a collection variable, but we haven't used an environment yet. So let us create an environment by going to the environments tab on the left.
Environments tab, hit.
Okay, so at the bottom, we don't have any globals. You don't have any environments. Go ahead and create a new environment.
Look at that.
All this trouble just so Arlemy doesn't steal it. Okay, so let's call our environment something.
He's a proxy for all bad actors on the internet.
He's just trying to keep us secure. Give your environment a name. Helpful. Okay. Now, under the variable, go ahead and give your API key a name. Okay. And then we'll need to paste. Oh, okay. Here's a little advanced tip for you. So we are in a team in workspace. You can tell because next to the title of this workspace, Michael's dead, whatever, there's 2 heads there.
Okay. That's me and you.
Yep. I can see your API key if you put it in initial value, but I can't if you put it in current value.
So this is available to team members. This is not.
Correct. And
Clever.
John's alias is pointing out, I like setting up end variables from a dummy API call in the pre-request tab, which sets them. It makes life easier. So they're setting up an environment or the environment variables, setting them. I like using environments because they are portable as well. So go ahead and go to the other tab where you previously hard-coded your API key as a header.
Yeah, I'm going to need more information about what you're asking.
Under the green Get tab at the top.
Yes.
Yeah, right there.
Got it.
Go ahead and go under Headers tab. There's so many
Headers
tabs.
tab? Yeah.
Go ahead and click that and then copy the value X1, hide for Arlemi's sake. Copy it to your clipboard.
Copied.
Okay, now go back over to Namo tab. Yep. And paste it under current value because Arlemi is also part of this team and we don't want him to have access.
Boo.
Okay, now
there's no way he's going to find that.
Hit save with that old-timey, yep. And then
old-timey save.
On that left part where it says Namo, go ahead and hover over next to the people heads. That check, go ahead and check it. The check mark.
Oh.
Yeah. So what you're doing is you're setting your active environment. So now Postman will read in from this actively selected environment. So if you were to use MB API key.
MB API key. Come on.
Sorry. Okay.
Yes. It's not one of my most complicated codes.
Okay. Go back over to that. Okay. So here's what we can do. Chat, let us know what you want to do. Should we add this as a header to this request that we're working with? So go ahead and tab over to that other request tab.
Over to that other request
tab. The green get request.
Oh, okay.
Yep. So previously we manually added a header. But I think every request in this collection is probably, John's wearing alias. Set it at the folder level. Yes. So let's go back over to the collections. Click on that in the left sidebar. Yeah. So let's look at it. We're at the request level, that green get request, which is in a folder with a single request. But I think every request, the setlist FM takes a header with X API key. So go ahead and click on the collection setlist FM API. Go ahead and click on that. We are going to use an auth helper. I think you could do this. Go ahead and select type in that drop down. Actually, let's read that copy just in case.
I love it when people read copy.
This, or on the left there, yeah. This auth method will be used for every request in this collection. You can override this by specifying one in the request. Okay, so I think that's what we want. Go ahead and select from the drop-down.
So many options.
Maybe API key.
Oh, Akamai. Maybe API key.
We'll see.
I know I have one.
Yes. So scroll down a scotch. Okay. Oh, good. It lets you put in the key and the value and add to a header. That's exactly what we want. So go ahead and the key is lowercase x dash API dash key.
Oh, how come that one does not auto-populate like the other one?
I don't know. It would be nice if it did.
I'm going to do a GitHub issue on that.
On the value, go ahead and paste your value. Or this is where, oh, sorry, don't paste your value.
Arlemi, don't look at it.
We literally just entered this in as an environment variable. So type double curly braces. And then type M, capital M, capital B, capital A. I forget what your thing was. How come? Oh, there it is. Okay, go ahead and select it. Yes. So now if you hover on that, it's
look at that.
Your current value, and it's an environment variable. You can see the scope there. And go ahead and click on Add to Header dropdown. I want to see what the other option is. Yeah, so some APIs will, accept the authorization or API key in the header. Others will accept as a query param. So in this case, we know it should be left a header. So go ahead and leave it there.
Done.
Here's some button, or I guess hit save. Yes. Okay, so close this tab.
Gone.
And then go to that first tab, the green get. Let's go under auth tab. And indeed, it's so tiny, you can barely see anything. It says inherit auth. That type, it says inherit auth.
Oh,
so the default is that you inherit. John's work alias was suggesting you could set it at the folder level. In this case, we set it up one level higher at the collection level. So this will propagate this auth helper and add these headers that we need to every request in this collection. So good. All right.
All set.
Now you can close this tab because unless we want to pop out to MusicBrainz to get an ID, you can go ahead and close it.
Closed. I'm going to save the changes. Don't save?
No, go ahead. Go ahead and save.
Save. Okay. Clear.
Let's get that next GET request, the search artists. The green one that we previously highlighted.
That's that?
Yes, so that's the one where we'll need the MBID, but we don't want to get, so actually collapse that so we don't get confused, yes.
Good, yes, so we want this one.
Yeah. So John's work alias is saying remove key from header vals on the other first call. So if we have headers and they're identical, then there is some way that Postman will handle those dupes, but that's a great idea. We can clean it up so that we don't get confused later. So
or that Postman doesn't get confused.
Well, so that we don't get confused. Postman has a way of overriding it.
Got it.
But it will.
We don't.
To John's work alias, it gets overridden at the most local, so we will actually override it. Let's go back to that first request, expand that folder, go to that request, and then under headers, go ahead and delete. Is there an X on the right of this? Yeah. If you delete, that's good too. Yep. And then
Clear.
save.
Old-timey
and collapse.
Disk. Collapsed. Back to this one?
Yes.
Okay.
Okay. So let's look at the params that we think we'll need. So scroll up in this. Yeah, I think you can drag this down a bit so we have a scotch more space. Yeah.
We don't have a response yet. We don't need that.
Okay. So artist MBID, we don't have because we don't want to go get it. We're lazy. So uncheck that box. Artist name, go ahead and type in your search query.
Which goes here in the Greek type? Correct.
Is that Greek?
Well, that's what we call it in ad agencies. What do they call it elsewhere?
Is it lorem ipsum?
Yes.
It's Latin, but I don't know the difference between Greek and Latin.
Well, I don't think it's proper Latin. It's like nonsense Latin.
Oh, nonsense.
In ad agencies, we call it just Greek that type.
Okay, so artist Ticketmaster ID. It's all Greek to me. It's probably super offensive that I don't know the difference between Greek and Latin. Go ahead and uncheck.
We're not recording this, are we?
Uncheck artist TMID because we don't.
Yeah, Ticketmaster. How did they worm their way in here?
Maybe they own Setlist FM.
Oh, good one. I think you're right.
I don't know.
That makes total sense. Oh.
So page, Take a look at the description text there next to number 1. The number of the results, click into that. The number of the result page you'd like to have. Okay, so this is going to be pagination. SetListFM API isn't just going to send you every piece of data. It's going to send you very little small batches. So we might have to do some pagination.
Why does this exist? Like, what's the problem here? Would the API send us 100 million pages of crap if we don't do something here?
It'll send us some default, but if we wanted to get to the 100 millionth page, we'd have to repeatedly call and then get the next little bit of data, because it would be too expensive and burdensome on this API if it was just like, I'll just send Michael everything he could possibly want.
Got it.
Sort. What is that? Sort, the sort of the result. Oh, that might be interesting, but I don't really know what the response looks like yet. So go ahead and uncheck sort.
And we're unchecking page, or no?
You can try unchecking page, see what happens. Okay. So all we're doing, so Postman has this graphical user interface that allows us to see keys and values very tabularly. But if we're like, what the heck is Postman gonna send? I don't even know if this is gonna work. Oh gosh, okay, let's go ahead and hop to it. Go ahead and hit send.
Sending. 200 okay, that's a hell of a start.
We can't see because it's under our faces, so drag it up. Yes, yes. Okay, 200 okay, XML. I don't like reading XML, so let's go ahead and add a header. Under the headers tab, we'll go ahead and John's work alias says F11. What does that mean?
I don't have it on my Mac, if that's you mean the F11 button.
John's work alias, what does F11 do? Go ahead and under headers, add accept.
Under key?
Yes. Yep.
Just the word accept.
Oh, yep.
Got it?
Full screen so we can see more. Does F11 do full screen? Oh, you know what we can do? Drag the left column over to the side. Drag the left side. Yep. Clear it up.
Oh, goodbye.
It's a little cut off on the left. I'm not. Oh,
yeah. Yeah.
Okay, and then on the value of the accept header, go ahead and start typing in application, and then select the /JSON option. So what that accept header is that you're telling the API, I would like to accept or receive this response that you're sending me in JSON format. So go ahead and send again.
Sending.
Oh, okay. Oh, Jesus, my ear. Okay. Now you can drag this. It's so hard not to be able to drag or show you like what line, because there's no way I could tell you what line to drag. Can you scroll, move your cursor to this white space right above the response area and then scroll down? No?
No.
Can you drag the line right above this up? Above? Above. Go up. Yeah, there.
This?
Will that drag up? Yeah. No. Oh, yes. Oh, precious.
One more inch of space.
John's work alias is saying try controller command F because we're looking for something. Oh, to do the F key? Is that how that works on a Mac?
Oh, I don't know. And then, but there's no 11 key. It'd be control F11.
I don't know. I think you can double click on the browser surround too. So the black surround there, can you double click? Oopsie.
Yeah, I think that was the opposite of what we wanted.
Oh gosh, this is like Mac shortcut live stream now. Control Command F. Try that. Control Command F.
We are in here. We're going to do Control Command F. Yeah, that got rid of the.
Yeah, I'll take it.
Yeah, another quarter of an inch.
More optimizations. Go ahead and toss them in the chat. But let's take a look at the bottom. All we did was get request on Grateful Dead. You know what you can do too, Michael?
Tell me.
The bottom of your
no
browser,
one's listening.
The bottom of your browser has the latest download. So if you were to like X that out, that would open up a teeny bit of real estate. On the right side of the browser, you should see like an X.
Yes, got it.
Okay. Whew.
All right.
Prime.
Every pixel counts.
I know. Okay, so let's scroll down to the response body. Let's take a look at what we got back from this server. Okay, so this is actually really hard for me to read. I can't see what's going on. On the right, bottom right, there should be an icon to make it side by side instead of up down. Can you see what that is? Do you see it?
Is it this one on the left? No, that shows.
It should be on the bottom right.
What's in the bottom right is Bootcamp, Auto Select Agent, and Runner. Oh, I have to zoom over. Got it. It was, yeah, this thing is, yeah. Anyway, got it.
Can I move our heads? What's going on? Okay, well, I can see better now. So let's scroll to the top of that response body, and you can see there's 30 items per page. We're on page 1. So it sounds like you didn't specify P parameter, but default is page 1. And there's 3 total artists. Oh my gosh, we're still just searching for artists.
We'll be done by 5 p.m. for sure.
Oh my gosh. Okay, let's chippity chop. Let's go back over to the left sidebar. Expand it again to collections. And we are going to look for search set lists. What's your favorite Grateful Dead song?
Let's go with Touch of Grey, even though it's not.
Touch of Grey?
Yeah.
Okay, so let's collapse some of those, the old requests, just to clean it up a scotch that we don't want
collapsing.
Anymore. Yeah, that's good. Now select that new search set lists get request. Let's go ahead and uncheck the params that we don't want. So scroll to the top of this params area. We don't have artist MBID, uncheck that. Artist name, we'll keep that and go ahead and put in your Grateful Dead. Is it the Grateful Dead or Grateful Dead?
I think there's no article for the official name.
Oh, so Sean in Idaho is saying, I think you need to grab the MBID first. But I think
really,
well, no, this particular request allows us to filter on or submit a couple different params. So let's just see if this works. If we need to go back and get an MBID, we will. Get rid of the Ticketmaster. So, Michael, if you were in the Setlist FM webpage, they probably have a little interface where you can submit your search parameters. But in this case, this is how we're submitting our parameters via API. So what do you want to look up?
Well, I thought we were going to look up Touch of Grey.
Okay, so we don't need city name. We don't need city ID. We don't need country code. We don't need date. Blah, 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 blah.
We don't need any of these things. Tour name, funny.
Yep, uncheck all those.
Oh.
So we're on a request that will get us set lists.
This will deliver all Grateful Dead set lists.
I believe so, yes. Do you want to whittle it down by anything?
Well, then let's go back to Berkeley.
Okay. Is that where you live?
It is where I live. And the Greek Theater in Berkeley has been the site of a number of well-regarded Dead shows, so they could pop up here.
I know there's a movie called Get 'Em to the Greek.
That's the Greek in LA, but it is a funny movie.
Okay. Okay, let's see what happens if we hit send.
Hitting send, sending request.
200 okay, and it's still that XML. So let's go ahead and add that header back so that we can see it in pretty JSON.
Add that header back. Help me. Help me.
This UI is a little bit squished because we're zoomed in so heavily and we're side by side. So Postman has collapsed the that little drop down where it says params.
Oh yeah. Oh, this. Yeah.
Yeah, you'll have to go to headers there.
Got it.
Drop down. Okay, so you know what? I don't want to have to add this except header for application JSON every time. So does anybody in the chat know how you can add a header to every request? I feel like somebody might know how to do that.
Is this a Socratic question, or
no? This is a question for the. I know, but I feel like there's somebody here that knows, because it's really okay. Fine. In the interest of time, let's just go ahead. If you think you know the answer, go ahead and tell me how you think you can add a header.
I definitely do not know.
In the meantime, do you remember how we added an authorization type to every request?
I remember that. Those were good times.
Let's relive those good times. Go back to the collection. Click on the collection setlist.fm API. So previously we added an auth helper that, again, cascades down or is inherited by all the requests in this collection. This time we are going to write a pre-request script. This is actually a somewhat new feature. At least it hasn't been around forever, but I think it'll work. Let's try it.
Try it.
Yeah, so you're going to write, oh my gosh, the first lick of JavaScript, Michael.
This is a historic moment.
Well, something that'll make your life a little bit easier is the autocomplete. That will make both of our lives a little bit easier. Type lowercase pm. So this is the Postman special object that we can use in the sandbox. So in the sandbox, meaning the pre-request script or the test script area. Go ahead and type dot. Start typing header. Let's see what we got. Oh, wait, John's work alias knows. Okay, so John's work alias says pm.request.headers.add. Wait, hold on.
Whoop.
Is that the best way, John's work alias? Type H. Type the letter H.
Nothing.
Aditya, welcome. We are just about to add headers to every request in this collection. Let me see what John's work alias says. Okay, try what John's work alias is. So pm.request. Oh, that's what I did, yeah. Yes, request dot H. Oh, add header. Wait, go back.
Isn't it right there?
Yes, add header. Okay, now open.
Thank God for chat.
Type slow because autocomplete will help us.
What am I typing after add header?
Open parentheses. Okay, so this says can be a header object. Okay, so open curly brace. We're going to make an object. And John's work alias has a slightly different syntax than I know, but I'm wondering if it works. So go ahead and hit enter. And type key, the word key, colon, space. Oh, John's work alias Googled it. The documentation's a scotch different. And then we'll go ahead and put in double quotes, capital except. You got to go back. Postman added the end double quotes, so go between.
Oh.
Yeah. Except.
So it's not auto-populating that one, but.
No, because it's a string. And then capitalize the A. I don't know if that matters. Okay, and then comma. Hit enter.
Enter.
And then do value. I'm looking at John's work alias's snippet, colon, and then in parentheses, or sorry, in quotes, double quotes, application, lowercase, /JSON. Lowercase. Yep. Okay. Oh, we need a comma after except.
Inside the quotes?
After the quote. Good question. Yeah, so Postman, once you type in the quotes, it's just like string. I don't know. Michael's going to go nuts. I don't know what he could possibly say. So the autocomplete only works when the syntax is potentially ready to be suggested. Okay.
Yeah.
So go ahead and hit save. So we're on the collection level details, and we are under the pre-request script. So we are writing a script that will execute before every request in this collection to add a header with the accept application JSON. So now if you wanted XML, then you're out of luck. You're going to have to custom write your own XML header or put this pre-request script in. All right, question from Aditya. So which language did we use here? This is JavaScript, but we are adding a JSON object. Or sorry, we're using a JSON object to add a header to the requests that are going to be sent. Okay, so now you can close this tab.
Gone.
And we're back here. Previously, we hit send. Actually, go ahead. Yeah, so go ahead and hit send again. So much work just to change XML to JSON, but it's a lot more pretty and readable. Okay, so let's look at this data. Yeah, this is pretty. If you want to check what that looks like, this is pretty, which means Postman's going to format your JSON object. You can see that the keys are in red, the values are strings are blue, integers are green. There's the raw version. And this is going to be exactly what's returned from the server. So no pretty syntax highlighting.
That's not pretty.
No. And then we won't really need preview because we're looking at a JSON object. But say you had an HTML file or something like that, then you might be able to render that HTML. And then visualize, sure as heck, we don't have visualize anything now because we need to write additional code to visualize what this response looks like.
Got it.
So back to the pretty. Okay, so let's actually look at the data. Collapse that left sidebar if you wouldn't mind. So get rid of the left request.
Oh, this one.
Yes. Oh,
look at all that room for the response. Woo!
Spacious. Okay, so there's 20 items that returned with page 1, but you can see that there's 59 total. So let's see what it's returning. It's returning a set list, an ID. Here, scroll up slightly. And then under set list, row 12, go ahead and collapse that. The artist, we already know it's Grateful Dead. That's what we're searching by, so collapse that. Scroll down a scotch. Venue, Berkeley, I think you included that in the parameters, right?
Yeah.
So we know that. Go ahead and collapse that. If you want to know the long lat, there it is.
Wait, which one am I collapsing? Venue?
Correct.
Well, venue, there will be, so the community theater is different from the Greek theater, so there will be multiple venues within the city of Berkeley. So we want,
yeah. Okay, that's good.
What else is in there? Acoustic set at Sun House. What? Oh, that's the set list. Cassidy, okay. Stones. Phil Lesh and friends. See, this is the Greek in Berkeley.
Okay. So what we could do is I did see a venue ID or venue name parameter that we could filter in more by. And so this is the age-old question of whether or not you want to get a huge payload back and then parse through it using code, or if you want to really strictly parameterize everything so that you get like 3 things back. Okay,
so I could just, rather than everything in the city of Berkeley, I could say everything at the Berkeley Community Theater, which would be a tinier subset of everything in Berkeley.
I believe so, because I thought I saw a venue param.
Yes, that sounds right.
Kevin Swiber is saying add header method will take either the key value object or a raw string. Interesting. The more you know. Evan Lindsay, Kevin Swiber, and knowing is half the battle. There's a lot of flexibility in the Postman sandbox. Okay, so what do you want to do, Michael? We have 15 minutes left. I feel like there's a couple different hypotheses. I've played around with this API a bit. You can get a bunch of set lists. You can filter through looking for certain songs. I saw one up there with year. So go back over to the request side. We're looking at the response now. So go ahead and expand that little filled in triangle to the left of body. And then that, since we're zoomed in so heavily, go ahead and update to params. Aditya, isn't it weird? It's 1:45 a.m. and I was going to go to bed to sleep and happen to watch this.
It's just too riveting. There's no way to sleep when this is happening.
The excitement is making my palms sweat. So there's all these params. There's date, the date of something. I thought I saw one that said year. We previously saw a venue, I think. Tour name. Do you know that stuff?
I don't think that the Dead typically name the tours other than Spring Tour 1987, but a lot of bands like the Rolling Stones, they would be named after an album, or I was trying to think of one of their anyway, it doesn't matter. I don't think the Dead named their tours the way most bands do.
I just realized that in my head, you just said the Rolling Stones. I think I thought the Grateful Dead was the same thing as the Rolling Stones. Okay.
You are the first to ever say that.
I don't really know the Rolling Stones either. Okay, so click on venue name. And then let's read what's in that description. Maybe, the name of the venue. Okay. Do you want to filter by name of the venue?
Well, let's just try Greek. Yeah, that seems like a thing.
Is that the name?
Well, part of why I was doing that is the full name, as it had there, was the William Randolph Hearst Berkeley Greek Theater, I think. But would it find it with just the word Greek?
Let's see.
Yeah, let's see. Live on the edge. I'm going to try it.
Let's try it. Scroll down. Venue.
Yeah, look at that.
It worked. Wait, the key is to see if the non-Greeks.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
And so they do have that. That's they do have the tour name. Yeah. It's not a super creative naming convention, but.
So some of these have cover, and some of them have name. Is name like their songs and cover a cover of somebody else's songs?
Correct.
I didn't know that famous bands did so many covers.
Well, I don't know. I wouldn't say generally famous bands do a lot of covers. The Dead did a lot of covers. Because their whole, well, I guess we can probably find that data too, but the number of songs they had in their repertoire that they could pull out in any show is absolutely staggering compared to most bands. So they played a lot of covers, and they also have tons of their own material.
Hey, scroll up to the top. I thought I saw the way this response is coming back from the API. It says set list, and then there's a list of different set lists. Scroll down just a scotch. Collapse the artist again on row 12. Collapse the venue. Collapse the tour.
That's a cool trick, those collapses.
Scroll. Okay, so sets. So this is a set list that has, I hate the way they name this, that has sets of a set.
Yeah.
A list of sets.
Every Dead show has first set and second set, which is, I don't think most bands have that.
Is that when they go backstage and you clap so much that they come back again?
No, that's the encore, which I don't know if they list that separately. But
so let's find out. See set 1, collapse 44. Oh, collapse.
Not
40,
allowed.
Collapse 43.
Collapsing.
You have to find 43. The beginning. Okay, set 2.
Second set. So yeah, so they opened up the second set with China Cat Sunflower.
Collapse 100.
Collapsing 100. Yeah, there we go. Encore. That's where you clap so much they come back and they play Foolish Heart, which is a pretty crappy encore, I must say.
Collapse 160. I want to see if anything comes after encore.
Like multiple encores? That would be a rarity, I would think. Yeah.
Okay. Well, so
Neato.
Scroll all the way to the top now of this response body. So we got 20 set lists back. So we're on page 1. Sorry. Yes, we're on page 1, which includes max 20 items, but there's 29 total items.
Yes.
So let's go back to the params on the left. And previously where you unchecked P for page, go ahead and check it. And now go ahead and change that number to 2. And hit send. Scroll down. We should have, yes. So we're on the next few. This is a different set lists. So remember how we were talking about like pagination, how the stuff coming back from the server is going to be like in small batches?
Yes.
We're filtered pretty narrowly. But if we were like, I want all the Grateful Dead set list in 1985, we might have to paginate and get all that information.
Yes. Neato.
Do you guys want to see how to do that? I don't know where you want to go. Okay, we have a question here. Oh no, Aditya, what are you asking about Azure for? Is there any way we can integrate Postman with Azure DevOps pipeline? I have automated a project which requires some test cases to run, but only on my local machine. How can I integrate it with Azure? Yes, that's a great question. And in fact, our very own Kevin Swiber had a talk about this in Galaxy. If anyone from the Postman team is there and Kevin's talk is up, if you wouldn't mind dropping a link to that one. It's solely, Aditya, I know you're up super late, but it's solely about integrating with your CI pipeline. And if you can run it on your local machine, you're just running it in your CI environment. Little Red Rooster.
Yeah, see, that's an old Willie Dixon blues tune that they used to play a lot. I'm a little red rooster, too lazy to crow for days. You know that one?
I don't know any of these songs, even the covers.
This is fantastic.
Okay. Lindy, for the Windy is requesting that you sing it.
I just did.
That was just the chorus, right?
Oh, there's one of the other ones I could probably sing in here. Dire Wolf, maybe?
Is that Game of Thrones reference?
Nope, that's a Dead song from maybe 1970.
So we have a few minutes left. I want to, I feel like we didn't get as far as, I think, Michael, you did fantastic and you had all the right questions. And we actually learned some things that were a little bit more advanced. We didn't write a ton of code, which is amazing. Braindead Air, thank you very much for dropping a link to that Kevin Swiber talk about driving pipeline automation with Newman and Postman API. But there's a couple things. I mean, what questions are rattling around in your mind? Let's conclude the stream, Michael, by saying, like, what could we do next? If we did part 2, what would you want to do? What are some hypotheses that you have that you're wondering if you can fiddle around with? I just said.
Well, when we were talking about Touch of Grey, that song, it was their only top 40 hit in the history of the band, peaking in 1987 at number 9. And I would be curious to know if they, most bands will play their hits more. And mostly the Dead was angry that they had a hit. So I'd be curious to see if, a lot of people started coming to shows in 87 because they'd heard Touch of Grey on the radio a whole bunch, which that was a new phenomenon. The Dead had been around for 20 years at that point, and suddenly people were coming to hear a hit song that they heard on the radio, which had never happened before. I'm curious how much they indulged said people.
Let us really quickly take a look at those those query params and turn P back to 1 so that we get the first round of results. Scroll down, uncheck venue name, unless you know where they were exactly in that year. You said 19 when?
87.
Okay, so scroll down to year, check year.
Love it.
And put in your interest. And then, are there any other parameters that might be interesting? No, let's just hit send and see what we get.
Okay.
Just in the top. I'm just curious.
Yep.
So there's 3 set lists. Why
No, is the 3 as pages or that's no? Because they would that 3 set lists.
3 results. So collapse row 6, or sorry, row 7. Collapse the next object. And there should be one more. Collapse that. Yeah, there's only 3 set lists in 1987. Oh,
that's an outrage. That
Kevin's
doesn't seem right.
Eagle Eye says the city is filtered still. So uncheck.
Oh, good one.
Thanks, Kevin. Wow,
Right.
they came to Berkeley.
They played 3
times. Wow.
Yeah, man, Berkeley's all right. I'm gonna uncheck Berkeley, and now we're gonna see the real story on 1987.
Okay, 92.
92
so you
shows.
were curious how long and if they indulged. So what we could do is we could look through these 20 set lists. Is Touch of Gray in this 20 set list? Get the next 20 set lists, 21 to 40. Is Touch of Gray there? Add them all up. Oh my gosh, John's work alias was at the Rich Stadium, July 1989. John's work alias is here because they're a Deadhead. And something that we didn't get to today was the visualizer. We saw it in the response tab. But if we could plot this over time, you can have the
that
date.
Would be cool.
Yep, there's a date here, event date, plotted over time for occurrences of Touch of Gray.
Ooh, that's neato.
I kind of want to do that now, but we don't have time.
For another day.
For another day. Maybe I'll just whip it up and then we can reveal it. Okay.
And in case you missed it.
In case you missed it, Touch of Gray. They were mad at their audience, the new audience, so they just said, screw you. Okay, I'm going to zoom away from your worktop, Michael, now. So that our faces. And we thank you for coming on. I feel like I just read this on Reddit this morning, but and I think you did great, by the way. So I think they say
it was a blast.
Embarrassment hinders learning. So if you're like embarrassed, like, I don't know something, or like, what's that for? Or is there a way to do this? That hinders learning. So your mind is a sponge right now. You are open to learning. And that's one of the reasons why I like this format. We typically like to close out streams by giving a shout out. Wendy for the Wendy says, can Michael give us a mandolin outro? Sean in Idaho is saying, great job, Michael. Michael, you still there? Can you hear us?
I am here.
Oh my God.
I don't have.
Is that a mandolin?
No, I don't have my mandolin handy, so. In the timbers of Venerio, the wolves are running round. The winter was so hot and cold, the froze 10 feet beneath the ground. Don't murder me, I beg of you, don't murder me. Please don't murder me. Wait, how's that go? Just the first verse.
Wait, is that a Grateful Dead song?
That is a Grateful Dead song. That's Dire Wolf.
That's actually pretty pleasant to listen to.
Oh, that's the highest praise they've ever gotten.
Michael, you're getting praise. We have John's work alias saying, you made Postman cool again. Sean in Idaho is saying, best stream ever. You guys literally rock. Michael rocks. Lindy for the Windy says, background vocals, please.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know that song. And Vinit Sparta is saying, this is fantastic. Chords and code. Oh my gosh, why didn't we name this chords
and code? That's gold.
We're going to have Michael, you come back. Brain dead air clapping. Evan Lindsay, I can't click on the right one in time. Is this poo on fire? Evan Lindsay says something, it's good, I think. Aditya is saying that's what we call a super ending. Thank you, Michael and Joyce. Thank you, everyone, for joining us. We will, before we sign off, next week we have a very special stream. Kevin Swiber, who gave the talk on pipeline automation, is going to be hosting from zero to async API. So
Yes.
OpenAPI, we've done that before, and it's super popular. And it's like, I don't know how to get started. Kevin is going to be joined by Kin Lane and Fran Mendez, who is the founder of Async API, and they're going to talk about it from scratch. So if you're like, I love event-driven architecture, or you're like, I don't even know what that means, you should show up next week for this.
3 legends talking about it.
And you know what's kind of sad? I have to close. I want to close with, okay, let's close differently. Michael, take us out. Take us out.
Well, God said to Abraham, kill me a son. Abe said, man, you must be putting me on. God said, no. Abe said, what? God said, you can do what you want, Abe, but the next time you see me coming, you better run.